Greetings, everyone. First thing I'm going to say is the universe always conspires with us to give us the things that we need. And as long as you understand that, you'll project positive vibrations out to the universe to make sure that you get what you need. Okay? Now that's settled, I can go into the rest of today's video. I want to appeal to some young people, young men or women, whoever you are in the world today. And I'm going to do so by telling you a story of this young man named Stephen. Stephen lived with his mother, and she was going through some terrible hardship. So she decided to send Stephen to live with his aunt, who was wealthy. And when he went, no, first she sent him to live with his father. And the father said things were hard with him, so he sent Stephen to go and live with his aunt in the same vicinity where I come from. And Stephen used to go to school irregularly. And whenever he's missing and he comes back and I would ask him what's going on, he would tell me his aunt didn't send him to school. His aunt was beating him, locking him out of the house. Sometimes she wouldn't feed him, and his neighbor would hide and give him food and say, make sure your aunt don't know that I'm giving you anything. And so I came to love this boy, Stephen. And those of you who are here with me, hear me talk about Stephen, going through all levels of abuse. But this boy had a spirit. And honestly, in my heart, I would give anything to see Stephen again, to see where he is at, what he's up to now. Because at the time, he was 12 years old. And all manner of liberty got taken with him. But I took him in my arms and I made him mine, for the time that I spent with him. 1 year I spent with him. And, I would give him money to come to school. And I'm not talking about, because I hate when people do that. I'm not talking about what I did for him for the sake of talking about it. I'm just saying that I took him like my son. And this morning I witnessed something, and it broke my heart. But while I was crying about it and being inflamed, and perhaps broke my own challenge about not saying anything negative, all of a sudden this light came on, and the Spirit said, let it be. Let it be. Let the universe allow whatever is happening to be aligned, because I have my purpose. I have my way. I have my plans. So while I was crying and, throwing up a fist and saying, this is terrible, this is unfair, the Spirit was saying, you can't want better than I want for this child. And your plans can't be greater for him. Let me unfold my plans and do my work. And I had to surrender. I had to pull myself back and say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You see, when you come out and you say you love the poor, be very careful about that statement. Because, you see, really, that is really the telling of a truth. Because no one should love the poor, because you're saying that you love their condition, and no one should love the condition of the poor. We should be able to come out and bless individuals, because really, in essence, no one is poor, because we usually measure poverty as material, and we fail to understand that there are many individuals who are materially poor. These individuals are rich in their spirit. These individuals have a future so bright, and we can't see it with our limitful, and it's not a real word, but I'm using it. This This eyes that's so limited, we cannot see. We can't see what is ahead of us. I went through some things in my life and had friends who I was close to, who I blessed. They were not there for me. Me and my daughter in a shelter. That was not the best experience. That was not good. Like I said, in the morning we have breakfast and then we can't eat dinner. Or sometimes for the day, except for one blessed person who was there for us. My daughter, who lived in that shelter, works in a great job. At 25 years old, owns real estate. And many people were comfortable while we were living in some basement that was dark and cold. We had no heat. They were comfortable. Their children didn't turn out as well as my daughter. And I bless all these kids. I wish them all the best. But my point with that is to say that my child didn't suffer any worse fate than anyone else, because we don't know the plans of the universe. We don't know, as some would say, what God has in store for anybody. So we have to humble ourselves. When you decide that something is not good for anybody or is too good for anybody, what you're doing is spitting in the face of the one who created all things. And because you don't know the future and you don't know how you're going to impact someone's life with the way you treat them, you have to be cautious. So while I was crying, for these individuals, that spirit came and said, why are you crying? Don't you know this is how I work? This is how I expose the hands and the hearts. Joseph, like the one in the Bible, had to deal with whatever. But the hand was working behind the scenes to help him do a mighty work of delivering his people. Joseph, I wish you all the best, you and your mom, Solonie. And this is not the first time. I'm not just doing this now because I came here telling a little bit of the story, my own personal story, and how I love you. Many of the people on my channel only know about them because I told that story. And I see how humble you are, Joseph, how humble you are, and how humble you and your mother are, and how grateful you guys are. And your blessings will multiply. Wonderful things will come from this because you humbled yourself. And your tears, Joseph, I saw them. And I know what they mean. I understand them. To be in this kind of work, one has to have spiritual discernment and the ability to feel other people's pain and the ability to listen to people and to understand what they're saying without words. But you're blessed, Joseph. You're blessed. You're blessed. And wonderful things are waiting to unfold in your life. And as others have been kind to you and shared with you, you one day will do the same. Let the hand or the invisible hands work. Do not be too quick to judge. And even when you see things that turns your stomach and hurt you, surrender that to the will of the one who can change all things. The only thing I'm going to say to you, Joseph, is that you didn't want to go on that camera. You did not want it, and you were forced to. People encourage you to come on the camera. And the very thing that you didn't want now has dropped in your lap. Now everyone knows what Joseph looks like. But sometimes we're brought to a position where life exposes where we are and where we are coming from, so that when we're blessed, when we're so blessed, ones will see that journey and be blessed by it. Joseph and Solonie, bless up your hearts. Blessings to every young person who find themselves sitting in a corner and thinking to themselves that poverty is a crime, and to think that, my condition renders me, you know, in a negative light. No, the condition of poverty really has nothing to do with you. It's just a failing of the world and society. And it doesn't matter what you're going through. That does not determine your destiny. It does not. So whatever you're feeling today, whatever hunger or shame or, fear or whatever you're dealing with today, let go. Surrender it all. Write it down, the things that you need, that is. And wait and see your blessings unfold. Stay blessed, everybody.